Today, the city felt unusually lively. It was Saturday after all. From the rooftop, I watched couples below. Boys and girls meeting up, holding hands, their laughter echoing. My heart felt a strange, quiet sadness. Some couples drove by, holding hands, embracing tenderly. I took a deep drag from my cigarette, waiting. Just a few minutes later, my phone vibrated, ringing like a factory alarm. Hello? Hello? What? You mean hello, right? You've been in the South for 8 or 9 years, and you still can't say hello properly. Liam, my best friend from university, and now my closest colleague, was on the other end. Knowing his stubborn personality, I feigned annoyance, cutting him short. What do you want? Just spit it out. You want a drink, right? Bring a case of beer over here. We'll keep this going. Hey, you know me. And remember to call Ethan. Okay? If you bring over a bunch of strangers, I'm not sharing much. Without waiting for my reply, he hung up. Hello, P. I found my pack of cigarettes and retreated to my room, then texted our 2 other drinking buddies. Soon, the 4 of us were gathered. After the first 2 rounds, Liam, feeling chatty, brought up a topic. Earlier, when I crossed the Y-shaped bridge, I saw a huge crowd. It looked like a girl committed suicide, or so I heard. Why else would those guys be furiously searching in the water with bright flashlights? I even saw a pair of pink sandals and a red hat. If it wasn't a girl, then what was it? Ethan, hearing this, immediately spoke up. Poor thing. Why be so foolish? No matter how stuck you are, there's always a way out, not just death. I raised my beer, clinked glasses, and said, emotions can overwhelm you in the moment. It's hard to suppress. Anyway, it's done. We shouldn't gossip about it. Liam shot back. Why not? Don't you know jumping off a bridge makes for a very potent spirit? They might even turn into a vengeful ghost. You're the only one from the north here, so maybe you don't know. We're from the Mekong Delta, surrounded by rivers and water. Drownings are common as dirt, and there are tons of ghosts and demons. At this, the other 2 quickly nodded in agreement. My turn, I thought, as they continued. They started recounting tales of people who drowned and became ghosts, of vengeful spirits claiming new lives, as if to make me believe Liam's words. I sat there, listening intently, my hands still steadily picking snacks for everyone's bowls. Perhaps they didn't know that Nam Dinh, where I'm from, also has rivers and seas. It's not that I didn't believe what they said, but those stories paled in comparison to what I had personally witnessed. I remained silent, absorbing all their eerie river tales. I tried my best to sit still and listen to all the supernatural stories about rivers and water that my 3 friends were excitedly sharing, drinking intently, eyes focused. Of course. Ethan turned to me, patted my shoulder and said, Hey, Ken? Do you have any ghost stories about rivers? Tell us. You've been sitting silently, just eating snacks this whole time. I was surprised by Ethan's sudden request and wasn't sure what to do. The other 2 quickly joined in. Yeah, you've been eating a lot of snacks this whole time. We've told our ghost stories. Now it's your turn. Cornered by all 3, I had no way to refuse or escape. Oh, to be honest, I didn't really want to tell it. It wasn't like the sad, eerie, or frightening tales the three of them had just told. Mine was far more agonizing and terrifying. I raised my beer glass and gestured. Finish this drink. Then I'll tell you. But fair warning. This is a true story I witnessed myself. Believe it or not, it's up to you guys. Honestly, I didn't want to recount it, but you and Ethan pressured me too much. If you don't believe it, just pretend it's a tall tale. After chugging my drink, I wiped my mouth, grabbed another snack, and began. This happened back in high school, where I used to study. Our school was about 6 kilometers from Ramsun Beach. So, the mischievous kids back then often snuck out to the beach to swim and hang out on the sand. Back then, beach tourism wasn't very developed, so Ramsun was generally quite deserted. Mostly, it was just long-time fishing families settled there, forming a small fishing village. That's why it also became a hotspot for the senior students to party. I remember not long after I started 10th grade, some seniors from 12th grade went to the beach to hang out. There were about 6 or 7 of them. After they were done with their fun, I heard they started pairing off. At this point, I suddenly blushed and paused for a moment, surrounded by the curious and eager eyes of my 3 friends. Ethan nudged my shoulder, gesturing for me to continue, asking, "They paired off to hook up?" Sean, shocked, slammed his cup down and stared at me in disbelief. "Wait, Ken, are you serious? Did they actually do it out on the beach?" I could only nod, confirming it. Liam scoffed, shaking his head. "What's the big deal? They're 18, 12th graders, and doing it on the beach. How's that different from back home? People often sneak into banana groves. Anyway, after they were done, the girls needed a place to clean up. Going back up was too far and inconvenient. Since the seawater was cool, 3 girls went down to bathe. The boys stayed on the shore, continuing to drink. After drinking and chatting for a while, they looked again and saw only 2 girls. One was missing, so they started shouting to look for her. A little while later, they saw the girl struggling far out. She must have been dragged away by the waves. This is where the tragedy began. One girl swam back to shore, while the other tried to save her friend. But among the boys on the shore, only one dared to jump into the sea to help. Unexpectedly, the girl trying to save her friend didn't get far before she cramped up. Unfortunately, she didn't realize she was in danger until it was too late, so she dragged the other girl back to shore. But by then, both were exhausted and couldn't swim anymore. So, the girl dragged by the waves. Did she die? I nodded. Yes. About 2 days later, her body washed ashore about 7 kilometers away. Almost her entire body was disfigured by fish. After this incident, all the students involved in that beach outing were suspended for a year. Our principal was also transferred to another school. All in all, it was quite a scandal. I put ice in my glass and poured more beer, stopping my story there. My friends immediately perked up. "That's it? That's all? What a short story. Where are the ghosts? Drownings like that, they're nothing compared to real ghost stories. Hold on. Let me drink some beer and regain my strength," I said. Her body was recovered, embalmed, and a funeral was held as usual. It should have ended there, but when they were about to close the coffin, the corpse suddenly opened its eyes. As they prepared to place her in the coffin, whether by accident or design, the pallbearer fumbled, causing her head to loll to one side. Her open eyes stared directly at her boyfriend, the one she went to the beach with. In fact, he was the one who had been intimate with her before she died. People just thought it was a coincidence. Or, if they were very superstitious, they might have just thought she wanted to see her lover one last time before the coffin lid closed. Nothing more. A few days after the funeral, her boyfriend suddenly went mad. He would ramble, curse people, calling them demons. In the daytime, he'd sit in the yard, laughing to himself. At night, he'd hide under a blanket in the house and sob uncontrollably. Seeing this, people started avoiding him. No one dared to interact with him anymore. I heard he was admitted to a psychiatric hospital for a while and improved, luckily regaining his sanity. When the doctor asked him what happened, he finally spoke. At this point, I silently raised my glass and drank. My friends were already too accustomed to my dramatic pauses. They didn't say anything, waiting for me to finish drinking before prodding. Done yet? Hurry up and tell us. This story's dragging on. We're dying of curiosity. All right. Here's the rest, I continued. He said that every day around 3 or 4 p.m., he would see the spirit of his girlfriend standing at his house gate. Her clothes were soaking wet. Her face was pale and greenish. Her eye sockets had been nibbled by fish, and her hair was a tangled mess, matted with mud and grime. She stood outside, calling him inside, saying things like, "Hey, honey, come play with me. Come swim with me. I'll do anything you want." Every afternoon, it was the same 10 times over. Remembering this, all 3 of my friends wondered, didn't his house have a guardian spirit or ancestral altar? How could a ghost come right to his house and torment him like that? That family's ancestors were corrupt officials, then exploitative landlords, and eventually collaborators with the foreign invaders. He was the 8th generation. People often say, accumulate good deeds for future generations. With a history like that, what gods or spirits would protect them? But that wasn't even the worst of it. He said, if it was just that, he wouldn't have been too alarmed. Perhaps because it hadn't been 49 days since her death. His girlfriend might not have realized she was dead. So she thought she was still alive and just wanted to go out and play. So he was only a little scared. But it was at night that everything changed completely. Every time he closed his eyes to sleep, he would hear the distinct sound of water dripping, the constant roar of waves crashing against the shore, all so clearly in his ears. At first, he thought it was just hallucinations, but later, things became more severe. He claimed to see tiny cracks on his house walls, from which water now flowed in abundance. When he slept, he would dream of drowning in the sea, over and over, until he felt like he was truly suffocating, only to wake up still in the dream. Ethan, hearing this, stroked his nascent beard. Wow, he suffered even more than her. Every night, he had to drown in his dream. How could anyone endure that feeling? Exactly, I affirmed. But there's more. When he woke up, Realizing it was a dream, he would glimpse a shadowy figure right at his bedroom door. It was a pale, disheveled figure, hair still dripping with countless drops of water. None other than his girlfriend's spirit materialized before him. She would bare her teeth, raising her hands as if to choke him, and whisper, "Why did you save that girl and not me, you traitor?" If you had told her, she would have known she was dead. She'd return to torment him, to blame him for not saving her, and then disappear. After that, days turned into months, and everything kept repeating the same way. In the afternoon, he'd see her at the door, calling him to come out and play. At night, every time he fell asleep, he'd dream of drowning. And when he opened his eyes, he'd witness the ghostly scene of his girlfriend's spirit choking him to death. Because of this haunting, he didn't dare to sleep for many nights, eventually going insane from the obsession. The story spread far and wide. The girl's family, hearing this, invited a master monk to chant sutras to guide her soul to the pagoda, accumulating good deeds for her next reincarnation. And that's how I'll end this spooky story. Everyone was curious. Liam slapped my shoulder and chuckled. This ghost story is so anticlimactic. What about the boyfriend? What happened to him? I wouldn't know. I was only in 10th grade back then. And after she went insane, where did he go? How would I know? I picked up my beer and walked to a spot where I didn't have to invite anyone. Sean, opening a new can for me, said, if that guy had tried to sneakily save his girlfriend that day, he might have died too. Even if he had saved her, the friend who swam out would have died from exhaustion. And who knows, maybe her ghost would have returned to haunt them even worse. Liam retorted, in that situation, you save whoever you can. It's done. But I don't find your story interesting at all. It's so generic. You can find stories like that anywhere online. What's so special about it? His words really annoyed me. What was he implying? Did he think I just made it up from something I read online? Suddenly, a thought flashed through my mind. A story I was directly involved in. Should I tell them something that will really open their eyes? That thought came and went quickly, tightening in my chest until Ethan spoke up. So, do you have any more interesting stories? Tell us, brothers. Even Ethan was asking, though I really didn't want to. But to appease everyone, I guessed I had no choice but to tell it. This was, after all, a sad story from my village. For over 15 years, few people wanted to recall it. But today, perhaps I would be the first to do so. I pulled a cigarette from the pack, lit it, and took a long drag, trying to calm my nerves. My eyes half closed, I began to look up at the ceiling. I closed my eyes tightly, slowly trying to recall. It was a scorching hot summer afternoon. I was about 11 years old, still running and playing with other kids my age throughout the village. Around late afternoon, after finishing all the chores our parents gave us, or after we'd returned from playing soccer, we'd all gather at the river behind the village to swim and play. The water there was cool, and there were many fish, so the children back then loved it. Every kid wanted to go swim in the river. Some would go, knowing they'd definitely get a beating when they got home, but they'd still rush to the river. A few whacks seemed a small price to pay for the joy of playing with friends. Compared to them, it was still an easy life. Yet, that small joy on the river didn't last long. A horrific tragedy struck the villagers, claiming 3 lives. And even now, whenever I recall it, people's hearts are filled with sorrow, bitterness and compassion for the unfortunate souls who fell into the arms of evil spirits. As always, that day, after playing soccer, we all rushed down to the river to swim. I was the most active one, so I often challenged the other kids to swimming races. I was a good swimmer, and so were my friends. So, none of us wanted to be outdone in this regard. The 12 boys from 2 soccer teams would line up in a long row, then get into position, waiting for a girl to signal go. Everyone would dive in, swimming eagerly like young otters. Normally, I was always the leader of the group. But for some reason, that day I made a false start, losing my momentum and falling behind the others. Later, I realized it was my ancestors protecting me, holding me back to save my life. Otherwise, if I had swum like every other time, it would surely have been me who drowned, not Harry, the boy who usually finished last in our races. At that time, I was already quite far behind, so I didn't bother to swim harder. I figured I'd just let myself lose this one. But unexpectedly, something suddenly happened right in front of us. A whirlpool, appearing from nowhere, slowly pulled Harry towards it. At first, Harry didn't think much of it until he felt something unusual and quickly swam backward. His instincts were right. The whirlpool became clearer, pulling him closer. The other friends still didn't understand what was happening until Harry screamed in terror. "Hey! Move back quickly! There's a whirlpool! Throw me a stick, hurry!" At that moment, none of us thought much of it. And of course, we didn't believe his words. Some even stuck out their tongues, swimming and saying, "You're just faking it to distract us, aren't you? Don't act like a baby. Come on, give me a stick." By this point, all of us kids realized something was wrong. Harry was trying his best to swim towards us, but was being pulled backward. "It must be a strong current," I shouted. "Everyone, go back to the clothesline pole, grab it, and quickly throw it into the river." Someone give him one end to grab. As the pole was thrown, someone grabbed one end and extended the other to Harry. But it was too late. Harry had been swallowed by the whirlpool and dragged down into the river just a second or two before. Some, in a fit of desperation, were about to jump in, but the others behind pulled them back, preventing them. The whirlpool was getting closer and closer, even pulling the pole we had just thrown into it, submerging it to the bottom of the river. Dan, at this moment, screamed at all his friends, "Swim to shore quickly! If you hesitate, we'll all die." My friends frantically swam as hard as they could to the shore, hoping to escape. I couldn't stand idly by. A person suddenly came to my mind, and I frantically ran to find him. Running through the village paths, trying to shout as loud as I could so everyone in the village would know and rush to the river to help. "Villagers! Harry drowned while swimming! Harry drowned while swimming!" I ran and shouted like that, and in moments the whole village knew. But they still didn't quite believe it, so an uncle even jumped out and blocked my way. He asked, "What are you saying? Harry, Mrs. Green's son, drowned? When?" "Don't spread false rumors, child. I was out of breath, panting. No, it's true. We were playing soccer and swimming, and he was dragged into a whirlpool and drowned." Those kids are still out there. If you don't believe me, go see for yourselves." He immediately ran off. That uncle then called out, "Hey, Mrs. Green's house is over there. Don't run to my house. Run to the river to save him." So after my alert, everyone in the village rushed to the riverbank. Some came out of curiosity to gossip, but others were Harry's relatives, filled with worry and fear. They ran down the old dirt path, some even leaping straight over fences and through Mrs. New's cornfield, because there was no time to spare. About 30 meters from Master Wade's gate, I shouted as loud as a pig being slaughtered. "Master Wade! Master Wade!" Harry drowned in the river. Hearing my cries from outside, Master Wade stepped onto his porch to see, and spotting me, he closed the book he was holding. "Ken, you're just a child. You shouldn't make up stories and talk nonsense, you hear? It could bring bad luck to others." I didn't dare to argue. "No, Master. Harry really drowned," seeing my serious expression. Master Wade quickly pressed his fingers, calculating a divination. The more he calculated, the paler his face became. He mumbled something very softly under his breath, so I couldn't hear. He repeated the divination 3 or 4 times, his hands starting to tremble. He turned to me, horrified. "He's dead! Quickly, show me where he drowned." He rushed into the house to grab his tool. And so, we both ran back towards the riverbank. This time, I didn't dare take the shortcut, because Master Wade couldn't jump over fences like me. We had to take the longer path. When we reached the riverbank, a dense crowd met my eyes. From old to young, men to women, I quickly scanned around, searching for my friend. Luckily, they had all made it to shore safely. Some were even sitting, hugging their mothers and sobbing. The whispers and discussions grew louder. Alongside them were the heart-wrenching cries of Harry's parents, siblings, and relatives. I turned to my friends, anxiously asking, "Harry? Where is Harry? Have you found him?" "No, Ken," one of them said. "It's been 15 minutes, and he hasn't resurfaced. He's probably dead. My son is such a good swimmer. How can you say he's dead?" No. Green, Harry's distraught mother. She was sobbing uncontrollably. Next to her, her husband, Mr. Green, was equally devastated. Both of them couldn't believe their beloved son could be gone so suddenly. Several uncles and the strongest young men in the village immediately stripped down to their shorts, ready to dive into the river to search. But before anyone could jump in, Master Wade quickly ran forward to stop them. "Brothers, nephews, don't rush into the water. There's a water demon down there. You'll lose your lives." Hearing Master Wade say this, everyone was taken aback. Immediately, they felt their legs stiffen and no longer dared to go into the water. In this village, Master Wade's words carried immense weight. Though he appeared to be just a simple village elder, he was a learned man, knowledgeable in I Ching, astrology, and even arcane arts like Chimen Donjia. So everyone in the village respected and believed what he said. Only Mrs. Green and Mr. Green, heartbroken and anxious over their lost son, were frantic. Mrs. Green pushed through the crowd, crying, "Oh my God, Master! Please let these uncles and men save my son. Get out of the way. If you say that, who will dare to go down and retrieve my son's body?" Understanding the couple's profound grief, Master Wade felt even more compassion, not anger. He approached, sat down beside Mr. and Mrs. Green, and kindly assured them, "I promise you, I will find your grandson Harry's body. But it is now the hour of the rooster, just after dusk, which is when the ghosts and demons grow strongest. The river is teeming with water spirits. Anyone who steps into the river now will face myriad dangers. I understand your sorrow, but we cannot rush if we don't want more people to suffer ill fates." After explaining thoroughly, Master Wade spoke loudly to instruct everyone to step back and clear a flat, open space for him to set up an altar for the ritual. He took out a boiled chicken, a straw effigy, 2 hard-boiled eggs, wine, incense, and candles, arranging everything in short order. He then drew a small sword, about 50 centimeters long, from his satchel, placed a talisman on the sword, and chanted loudly. The talisman immediately burst into flames without needing a spark, astounding everyone who watched intently, realizing he was about to display his magical prowess. Once the incantation was complete, he used the burning talisman to rub all over the straw effigy, then spat a mouthful of water onto it. Holding the effigy, Master Wade walked to the riverbank, still holding the whole boiled chicken, and firmly tossed it into the water. He said, "Minor deity, quickly go down there in my stead and negotiate." Let the chicken and the effigy sink completely. Everyone was on edge, awaiting the outcome. No one spoke, their eyes fixed on the placid river surface. The atmosphere was incredibly quiet. I walked towards Master Wade, about to ask something, but the crowd gestured for me to stop. I could only stand aside, waiting along with everyone else, minute by minute, second by second, and then the moment everyone had been waiting for arrived. The straw effigy and chicken which had been thrown in earlier now began to resurface. It was the effigy, accompanied by red scattered chicken bones, floating to the very spot on the bank where Master Wade had thrown them. He looked at the pile of chicken bones, stripped clean of flesh, and felt a sense of relief, a faint smile gracing his lips. Reassuring the crowd, he announced, "The negotiation seems to have gone smoothly. You uncles and nephews can now go down and search for Harry's body." Hearing this, everyone rejoiced and was filled with renewed hope. While one might doubt anyone else's words, Master Wade's words were undeniable. So, they all began to warm up, preparing to dive into the river to search. Master Wade carefully molded a pinch of sacred earth into a peace talisman, then placed it in a small plastic bag, tied it to make it waterproof, and gave one to each person. He sternly warned them, "To ensure your safety, everyone must wear this talisman before going down. If anything unexpected happens, it could save your life. Furthermore, remember my words carefully. Absolutely do not respond to any call or voice other than mine. If a ghost or water demon tries to lead you astray, you will lose your way and become their prey." They nodded, seeming to understand. But to be absolutely sure, he made everyone repeat the warning 3 times. With the peace talismans around their necks, everyone bravely plunged into the water to search for the body. By this time, it was almost completely dark. The faint light from a few flashlights and 2 candles couldn't illuminate such a vast area. Many, realizing this, immediately ran home to fetch more flashlights and torches. Tonight, almost everyone was determined to find Harry's body, still submerged in the cold, murky water. Now, torches blazed everywhere, and the river was filled with the sounds of people diving and searching. At this point, Mr. Green, who had managed to compose himself, approached Master Wade, clasping his hands respectfully. "Master, my wife and I apologize. Just now, in our grief, we spoke out of turn. We hope you will forgive us." "That's not the issue now," Master Wade replied. "The important thing is finding Harry. Master, earlier, when you performed the negotiation ritual, was that how it truly happened? Was Harry captured and killed by a demon? That demon had cultivated its powers for hundreds of years before it was condemned by military law and thrown into the river to drown. Filled with bitterness and vengeance, it transformed into a malevolent spirit and refused to reincarnate. So, it captures shrimp and fish in the river to serve as its minions, seeking out people whose fates align with its own to become its followers. When I sent my spiritual messenger to negotiate, it demanded a shrine be built in its honor, and that every year offerings be made to appease its spirit, and for it to reveal Harry's body. My messenger has agreed to these terms with the demon. It won't be long before young Harry returns to his family." Mr. Green was overjoyed to hear Master Wade's words, quickly bowing repeatedly, but the master stopped him from interrupting the ritual. Just as Master Wade had said, a short while later, someone found Harry's body. It was floating face up, not far away. A young man, Tom, quickly shouted, "Harry's over there." Everyone stirred and buzzed with excitement upon hearing this. People on the bank kept asking, "Where? Where?" Master Wade tried to shout loudly to warn them, but no one answered Tom's question. "Where?" "Master, Tom just found him over there." "Stop! I'm coming there now." "You all must not move. It's dangerous. Understand?" So they all stayed put, not daring to go onto the shore. On this side, Master Wade had to take a detour to get to the other side. Not long after he set off, Tom called out, "Master, that strange body that was floating face up just now has stopped and is slowly drifting closer. Master, walk carefully, you might fall." Hearing Tom's words, Master Wade felt as if he'd been struck by lightning. He saw Harry's body standing upright, its face ghostly white, slowly, gracefully moving towards Tom. Master Wade's face tightened, his eyes narrowed, his eyebrows almost drawn together. He yelled, "Run! Tom, run! That's a drowned demon, not Harry." Before Tom could even comprehend what was happening, the upright corpse of Harry lunged at his neck. Suddenly, Tom saw its eyes open, teeth bared, its face transforming from white to a dark purple black. The peace talisman around his neck continuously flashed, emitting a warning sound. Knowing he had encountered a demon, Tom desperately tried to swim away. But it was too late. Harry, or more accurately, the demon inhabiting Harry's body, had already grabbed Tom's arm and pulled him down with force. Tom struggled frantically, but couldn't escape, only able to helplessly cry for help, knowing it was unlikely anyone could save him in this situation. The water demon, with one hand, choked his neck, and with the other pressed down on his head, submerging him several times, laughing maniacally with glee. "Where do you think you're going, little one? I can't believe that young sorcerer easily trusted people and gave you a peace talisman. but against me, it's useless. With that, it pushed Tom's head under the water. Tom could only struggle, trying to lift his head up instinctively, and each time he tried to scream for help. Demon, help! No one can save you now. Your God can save you now. Tom's eyes turned towards Master Wade, struggling with all his might to reach him, but it was utterly hopeless. Master Wade was too far away to reach him now, so he immediately decided on a different course of action. He pulled out an old red talisman, folded it neatly into a triangle, and threw it towards the sky. As the talisman flew up, it ignited by itself, and he chanted loudly, mystical brightness art, "Thunder talisman open!" The talisman, as soon as it was thrown into the air, transformed into a bolt of lightning that struck down, illuminating the entire river surface with a flash. The demon, who was drowning Tom, let out a huge explosion. A large column of water shot up about 4 or 5 meters high. On the bank, everyone screamed, "Harry! Tom!" No. Strangely, despite the impact, no one was hurt, even though they were all in the water, and the river surface was calm again, as if nothing had happened. In the end, Master Wade was one step ahead of that demon. He told the remaining people to swim to shore, while he himself looked intently at the riverbed to see what happened. Just as he predicted, about 5 minutes later, not just one, but 2 bodies suddenly surfaced, both standing upright as if on solid ground. Around them, people whispered and discussed. Some even speculated Tom is dead and his body is floating upright. Did he turn into a demon too? Another person chimed in. He's a demon. What else? When I saw Harry's body earlier, I suspected something. Our elders taught that men float face down and women face up. No one floats upright like Harry's drowned body did. And normally, it takes 3 days and 3 nights for a body to surface. It's been less than an hour and a half, and Harry's body surfaced. It's completely illogical. If Master Wade isn't careful, he might also be dragged away and killed by them. Indeed, Master Wade had been so busy talking to Mr. Green earlier that he was a bit careless in his vigilance, leading to Tom's tragic death. This time, he was absolutely determined not to fall into their trap again. He gestured for someone on the other side of the river to throw his bag to him. A young man on that side put all his strength into it, swinging the bag around and throwing it hard to the other bank. Master Wade immediately leaped and caught it, quickly pulling out a small net made of red thread dotted with cinnabar. He stepped forward, spreading the net with his hands, and declared, "Let's see where you demons can run this time. Mystical brightness art, net of intent, appear." The red netmaster, Wade threw down, expanded abnormally in an instant. The 2 bodies quickly sank deep into the river, but they were caught by the master. With one hand he pulled, and with the other he made hand gestures to infuse himself with spiritual power. Powerful surges of energy were continuously channeled into the net, making it not only stick but also grip more tightly. A crackling sound emanated, astonishing everyone. Suddenly, a cloud of white smoke rose from the river. At this moment, the seemingly harmless net was burning, even under the river. It was burning the 2 drowned demons, the wicked spirits inhabiting Tom's and Harry's bodies. Knowing they could no longer hold on to these bodies, they quickly fled before Master Wade could fully retrieve the net. Realizing he had caught the two demons, he pulled the net and shouted, "Brothers, quickly come here and help me pull this net up." Harry and Tom are both in this net. 4 tall, strong young men immediately ran over to help Master Wade. Finally, Harry's body was recovered, although at the cost of another life, Tom's. Just then, Tom's parents arrived. Upon hearing the news of their son's death, they collapsed, weeping inconsolably. Master Wade, retrieving his net, immediately performed a cleansing ritual to dispel any remaining demonic energy from both bodies. Their faces now returned to their original pale white. Master Wade sank down onto the sand, panting, struggling to catch his breath, and said, "The two families should take the bodies back for burial. But remember, do not set up altars for them." "Why, Master? The reason I tell you this is because I haven't yet rescued the souls of young Harry and Tom." Setting up an altar now would be meaningless and offer no benefit, only attracting more wandering spirits. These two bodies were borrowed by demons to use. Before burial, they must be thoroughly purified. And no one in the family whose age clashes with the deceased should participate in the burial, or it could lead to consecutive deaths in the family. It was incredible how a simple swimming incident involving children had led to a series of chaotic events. The saddest was the accidental death of Tom while participating in the search for Harry's body. Both families accepted Master Wade's instructions. Though their hearts ached, they knew they had to comply. All the tasks for tonight were temporarily done. Now, only Master Wade could resolve the remaining issues. Harry's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Green, and Tom's parents, all desperately hoped that Master Wade would soon retrieve their sons' souls from the clutches of the evil spirits. This was also an immense pressure on the Master, because, ultimately, Tom's death was partly his fault. Master Wade gathered all the ritualistic objects back into his satchel, then signaled the large crowd to disperse before heading home himself. I watched his tired, self-reproaching face intently, trying to linger for a bit until everyone else had left. When almost everyone was gone, I quietly trailed behind him, asking softly, "Master Wade, what about Harry's and Tom's souls?" He replied, "Now, I will do my best to retrieve their souls within 3 days and bring them back to their families and ancestors. Then let me come with you. I'm just a child. How could I know these things and ask to come along? Go home and get some sleep, Ken," he said, then gently took my hand and led me home. As he continued down the well-worn village path, I kept my eyes on him, and a strange, lingering anxiety welled up in my heart. I remembered Master Wade's words to me. I must retrieve their souls within 3 days. Yeah. What if he couldn't retrieve them within 3 days? Also, when I said I wanted to go with him, he told me to go home and sleep. So, was he planning to go to the river tonight to retrieve Harry's and Tom's souls alone? No, that would be too dangerous. This entire village had always relied on him for such matters. If something happened to him, who would the villagers turn to? Tonight, I definitely had to sneak out to the riverbank, just to be sure. If something truly serious was happening, perhaps I could even help Master Wade. So, I immediately began to make meticulous preparations for tonight's actions, without any delay. After a moment of preparation, I stealthily found some cow's tears and a bowl of chicken's blood. I had secretly caught a chicken from my mom's coop, cut its throat, and collected the blood and urine in a bottle. To be even more certain, I decided to sneak out from my parents' house to Master Wade's early to observe. I moved slowly and cautiously, hiding myself in the bushes. To be safe, I wiped the cow's tears on my eyes to see if they would open my spiritual vision. Then I poured the chicken blood on myself, considering it a homemade protective charm. Done, I lay still and waited. Just as I suspected, something indeed happened. As I lay hidden in the nearby bushes, observing suddenly, in front of Master Wade's house, whose souls appeared. It was Harry and Tom. So, the cow's tears really worked. A moment later, I also noticed a person in green clothes, standing in the mango tree. The souls of Tom and Harry began to call out, "Master Wade, save us! Those water demons are severely beating our souls." My mouth closed, but I couldn't make a sound, trembling with fear and dread. This was the first time I had ever witnessed a real ghost. Now, looking at their souls, black-purple smoke emanated from their feet. Whip marks and bruises were still deeply etched and festering on them. I focused on watching. Just seconds later, Master Wade opened his door. He stepped out and saw Tom and Harry. "How did you two get here?" he asked. "The water demons didn't hold us tight, so we managed to escape. But they're still chasing us. We didn't dare run around the house, so we just came here to ask for your help." Master Wade immediately put on his spiritual glasses to see clearly. At this moment, I didn't know who the green-robed soul was, so I was a bit suspicious. It looked like a young man with a completely black face, red eyes, and white fangs, constantly gesturing with his hands and eyes. I looked down at Tom and Harry, feeling like something wasn't quite right. Master Wade slowly moved closer and said, "Let me see you two. Have they been tormenting you this badly? Come inside so I can use my magic to heal you." I saw the green-robed figure sitting in the tree, sneering, then raising his hand as if to signal something. No. My gut feeling told me Master Wade was in danger, so I immediately emerged from the bushes and ran out, shouting, "Master Wade, watch out! It's not Tom and Harry. Just as I predicted, it was two demons, not their souls." They lunged at Master Wade, but he managed to dodge in time. The green-robed demon in the tree also swooped down and screamed, "Watch out above you, Master!" Master Wade leaped upwards, firing a spiritual dart straight at the demon, which then bounced back behind him. At this point, the demons also revealed their true forms. Two red-robed demons stood beside a green-robed demon. All three turned to me, angry, and shouted, "Little brat! How can you see us?" Because I know magic, one of the red-robed demons immediately lunged, aiming for my life. I quickly pulled out the water gun I had prepared, filled with urine, and aimed it at the demon, then fired. Seeing this, it laughed mockingly. "A water gun? You pathetic little human, today you die. Guess who will die when I shoot?" I fired shot after shot at the demon, who scornfully didn't bother to dodge. But as soon as the drops of urine hit it, its body suddenly caught fire. Wherever I hit it, countless holes appeared on its body, big and small, too many to count. The powerful urine, it couldn't save itself. The green-robed demon hadn't even had a chance to react before the red-robed demon was burned to ashes by my urine. Seizing this opportunity, Master Wade launched his own powerful spell. He said, "So you want to harm me too? You're quite bold. Quickly, return those 2 souls to me." As his spell struck, the green-robed demon pulled the red-robed demon to shield itself. Immediately, the red-robed demon took the full force of Master Wade's attack. Its body was torn into more than 1,000 small pieces. So, in the blink of an eye, both Master Wade and I had dealt with the minions. The green-robed demon looked scared, but he tried to maintain his composure. I aimed my gun at him, waiting to pull the trigger. He walked behind Master Wade. Once I felt safe, I asked, "Where are their souls?" "Give them back, you bastard!" Even my great-grandfather wouldn't dare talk to me like that. "You want to count my piss?" He immediately pushed me behind him, taking 2 steps back, and slowly began to speak. "Why do you want to capture other people's souls?" "That's against the laws of heaven. Don't you know you'll be punished?" "Punishment? What the hell is that? I drowned more than 49 years ago and couldn't find a suitable replacement to claim, so I no longer have a chance to reincarnate. If that's the case, then I'll drag all the little brats from this river and make them my soldiers. Wouldn't it be better if I ruled alone?" "So you have no intention of returning the souls to me? You think my answer is yes or no? Let me tell you, from now on, if anyone dares to set foot in this section of the river where I rule, they won't even be able to close their eyes." At this point, Master Wade could barely contain himself. So could I. So he fired several more spiritual darts at the demon. As for me, I continuously fired my gun, screaming, "Die, you dog!" Before the water and spiritual force could reach him, he agilely leaped to the side, dodging. In a flash, I saw him standing on a small boat at the entrance of Master Wade's house. He turned his head, smiled mockingly, and said, "Let's fight by the riverbank. If I win, I'll return the souls. If you lose, you'll die." That's all. With that, he flew away and disappeared, leaving Master Wade and me standing there dumbfounded. I pulled Master Wade's hand, urging him, "Master, what are you waiting for? Let's go to the river and fight that demon. I will go, but first I must take you home." "But what about this? I prepared this to bring with me to help you. I even poured chicken blood on myself. I'm really brave. But who taught you these tricks, child?" "No one taught me. I saw you pour chicken blood on your sword and talismans, and they became powerful. So I figured if I poured chicken blood on myself, I'd become stronger, just like you did." Seeing my face filled with confidence and courage, Master Wade respected me greatly. And after all, I had even taken down a demon. How could that not be impressive? I thought he would let me go with him, but he adamantly refused. No matter how much I pleaded, all I got was a cold no, accompanied by a very intimidating tone. When I say no, it's no. If you want to follow me to fight demons, you must be old enough and have your parents' permission first. Then he led me home to ensure my safety. So I was reluctantly led home. Just as Master Wade was about to call my parents out to greet me, another idea suddenly popped into my head. Although the chance of success wasn't high, I was determined to try. As Master Wade was about to call, I pulled his sleeve stopping him, making a mournful face. "Master, if you tell my parents, they'll beat me. You're not kidding, are you? Just let me climb over the wall and into the house by myself." But he, understanding, smiled and said, "I'm not going to tell them you fought a demon. Don't worry. I'll just tell them you came over to my house to play. Is that okay? But master, I'm covered in chicken blood now. My parents won't know. Just let me climb over the wall. That's fine. And I promise I won't follow you to the river. You promise you can do it." I was overjoyed inside. But to be safe, I added another condition to be sure. "But you have to promise that after this, you'll accept me as your disciple. And also, I must return safely and defeat that demon. I promise you, tomorrow morning, after this is over, I will talk to your parents. Now, listen to me. Go inside, wash up, take a bath, and get some rest. Here, climb onto my shoulders. I'll give you a boost." "No, I can climb by myself." "Go inside. Be careful out there." I immediately scrambled over the wall and stealthily went inside. As I stood by the well, drawing water to wash my hands and feet, Master Wade, trusting me, turned his back and quickly walked towards the riverbank. As soon as I heard his footsteps fade away, I immediately climbed back over the wall. Before leaving, I didn't forget to collect the last drops of blood from the chicken I had secretly hidden in a nearby bush. Since Master Wade had already found me out, I only dared to take cautious steps. Still holding my water gun and the bottle of urine, I crept close to the bushes, so if he looked back, he wouldn't see me hiding. After about 15 minutes of sneaking around like a thief, I finally reached the riverbank. It was very dark now, and as I walked out, I felt an uncanny shiver down my spine. Master Wade quickly found a hiding spot, because this section was an open, sandy area. I saw Master Wade walk to his previous spot, spread out all his tools, then began to arrange them, lighting the incense and walking around with the incense sticks in hand, forming a large protective circle around the ritual area. When everything was basically finished, he fired a shot into the river and called out, "Drowned demon, quickly return the souls." I lay flat on the ground, slowly crawling towards a slightly elevated mound of earth, using it as cover to continue waiting and observing. After Master Wade fired a shot into the river, it suddenly seemed to stir. A whirlpool, larger this time, suddenly appeared. Instead of sucking things in, right in the center of the swirling water, the upper half of the cruel drowned demon's body emerged. Beside it were two familiar souls. They were none other than Harry and Tom. The demon gripped both their heads, pulling them up, and provocatively declared, "These two are with me now. If you, old man, have the guts, come and get them." I was afraid it might be another demon disguised as them, like before, but seeing how that wretched demon treated them, it seemed like they were truly Harry's and Tom's souls. I cautiously made my way to the concrete pipe and sneaked behind it. Luckily, no one noticed me. At this point, the distance between me and the riverbank was only about 40 meters. So, I could hear every word of their conversation clearly. The green-robed demon submerged Harry's head in the water, making him choke and sputter, trying to intimidate Master Wade. Master Wade then proposed a condition. You and I will have a duel to the death right here." The demon laughed. "You forget, I'm the only one with the right to set conditions." "Who are you trying to challenge? Do you think I won't make these two souls scatter to the wind? So, what do you want, Master Wade?" "I'm a water demon, not used to fighting on land. And you're human, so it's hard for you to move freely in the water. I have an idea. Why don't you project your soul out and fight me? If I die, you can naturally take their souls back. But if you lose, your soul will share the same fate as theirs. What do you say? What? Even a kid like me knew?" If Master Wade agreed, he was essentially signing his own death warrant. Probably 70–80% certain. How could a human soul defeat a demon? Even if Master Wade had magic, how much power would his projected soul retain? Not to mention, he proposed fighting in the river, using his strength against his opponent's weakness. That was a clever trick to bait in. I thought all this to myself, waiting to see how Master Wade would reply. After hearing the water demon's proposition, Master Wade narrowed his eyes, full of calculation, and said, "No, that's disadvantageous for me. I cannot fight under such conditions. Let's just go home." Why waste time if I can't save their souls, and I can't kill you? Then it's over. Now, he was cornered, forced to fight with no other choice. Finally, to save those two innocent souls, the master steeled himself and took the risk. He raised the small sword in his hand, which immediately flashed with a yellow glow, and chanted, "Mystical brightness out, soul-body separation, manifest." With a sudden flash, Master Wade's soul separated from his body. His physical body stood there, eyes closed, unmoving. The demon let out a triumphant cackle, saying, "Excellent! That's more like it. Come down here and fight me. Do you think I'm scared of you? Today is your last day. Drown the demon. Behold! A mystical brightness art, thunder suppression talisman open." Master Wade threw a talisman and clapped his hands, and it instantly transformed into a golden aura that shot up into the sky. Then it unleashed a barrage of terrifying lightning bolts. The demon wouldn't give up. It quickly deployed a defensive spell and counterattacked. Darkness illuminating art, open. A black current of water, at its command, formed a shield against Master Wade's lightning. As the third strike landed, the demon began to retaliate. Let's see how strong your human soul is. Void-severing river open. The black water, after serving as a shield, suddenly became a weapon. The black current transformed into a beam and shot upwards. Wherever it hit, objects shattered. In other words, if Master Wade lost focus for even a moment, the battle would be over. I watched, filled with fear and suspense, wanting to scream, but determined not to leave my spot. If I were exposed, I would only become a burden to the master. So, I could only stay silent and observe intently. Master Wade leapt backward, dodging the water beam heading towards him. He stomped his foot, and instantly a wall of sand appeared, blocking the deadly water beam. Seizing this opportunity, he quickly made hand seals, chanted rapidly, and with powerful spiritual force, drew a circle in the air. Mystical brightness art, 5 thunders command, open. 2 extremely powerful streams of spiritual energy shot towards the water demon. It, relying on its water shield, hadn't bothered to defend itself. To its surprise, the 2 streams of energy pierced through the water shield and struck its shoulder. Realizing he couldn't be careless this time, he decided to unleash a powerful move. Well done. You're stronger than I thought. Wade. But that's nothing compared to me. Watch this. Undercurrents rise. He roared loudly, and immediately the sky grew stormy. In a short span of time, the entire river surged with continuous waves. Strong winds howled, kicking up sand and dust that struck my face. I even felt as if my very flesh was being torn by the wind. Master Wade's soul remained steadfast. Both stared at each other. He was no longer an ordinary water demon, but a true water demon king. His body was covered in strange features. A turtle shell on his back, shrimp-like antennae on his head, crab-like claws for hands, and fish-like fins for feet. At that moment, he appeared to be a bizarre hybrid monster, impossible to name. In his large claw, he now wielded a sharp iron trident. Yet, I could feel an incredibly terrifying power emanating from that trident. Finally, he had truly transformed into his actual form. Master Wade held a sword in one hand and a talisman in the other. The sword grew longer and emitted a strange, brilliant light. He threw a purple metal talisman from his hand into the air, then used his sword to split the talisman in half, and shouted loudly, "Let me show you my true power." He raised the 2 halves of the talisman, and a dazzling, circular formation of light descended from the sky, firmly encompassing the entire battle space in the middle of the river. I clearly recognized it as the yin-yang Tai Chi symbol often seen in films about spiritual battles. I was surprised Master Wade could use such a spell. Before, I thought these only existed in movies, and not only that, this spell was much grander and more powerful than anything depicted in films. I, Ken, felt incredibly lucky to have Master Wade as my teacher. Returning to the battle, after the formation was complete, Master Wade raised his spiritual sword. He lunged, striking at the water demon, his soul hovering in the air, about half a meter above the water's surface. Each sharp sword strike whizzed back and forth, forcing the water demon to quickly retreat in panic. It began to swing its trident, thrusting and parrying to counterattack Master Wade. Trying to dodge, Master Wade was hit once and knocked far back. Without hesitation, as soon as he was thrown back, he immediately channeled more spiritual power and energy into his speech-wood spiritual sword. The sword glowed brilliantly, dazzlingly, making me gasp in awe. Truly the pinnacle. He then wildly swung his sword in the air. This time, he didn't need to engage in close combat. He simply stood at an elevated position in the air, continuously striking down with his sword. Countless sword energies rained down like a torrent. The demon raised its trident, channeling magic to block them. But with so many sword energies, it could only block the first 1 or 2 strikes. The subsequent ones hit it squarely. Loud explosions erupted, scattering river water everywhere. Luckily, I was hiding inside the concrete pipe, so I didn't get wet. As I poked my head out to watch, Master Wade's voice rang out with increasing power. You dared to lure these cultivating spirits to gather their primordial souls within you. You dared to kill people and make them your servants. Then today you shall surely die. Don't talk so much. If you can, make good on your words. The water demon began to grow furious. It gripped the trident in its hand and stabbed repeatedly. Master Wade, above, refused to yield. He bit his tongue, spat his blood onto the sword, causing it to glow fiery red, and swung his sword down. He roared, "Your end is near. Great Tao of Harmony manifest." With that, Master Wade delivered more than 10 consecutive strikes, attacking with fire from his sword net. The flames blazed and flickered, crackling. The demon tried to block the attack with its trident, but unexpectedly, Master Wade's sword net shattered its weapon in half. Master Wade then smoothly followed through, bringing his sword down powerfully and pulling it back to the side. One of the demon's claws was severed. Watching all this from afar, I clenched my fists and exclaimed, "Excellent fighting." Now that demon only has one claw, so its fighting strength will surely be reduced. With this, in no time, Harry's and Tom's souls will be reclaimed. Feeling triumphant, I stood up and boldly stepped out, no longer feeling afraid. But before I could even stand up, I saw him howl wildly, casting spells and continuously attacking in all directions. I had to duck my head down. Master Wade's soul had to dodge slightly to avoid being hit. He looked at his severed claw and growled, "You're good, you wretched human. If that's how it is, then today I will fight you to the very end. All of you, rush him. You must kill this wretch's soul." And with that, a swarm of fish, shrimp, clams, and snails appeared. Each one of them now exuded a murderous aura, as if wanting to devour Master Wade alive. Realizing the clear numerical disadvantage, he gritted his teeth, still gripping his sword tightly, and said, "So, you're ganging up on me?" The demon let out a contemptuous laugh and replied, "Only a fool would fight fair in a battle to the death. Advance and kill him for me." And so, a horde of aquatic creatures launched a simultaneous attack. In moments, Master Wade was surrounded on all sides. Snakes, fish, crabs, shrimp, countless enemies swarmed him. They all exuded a dense demonic aura, lunging to attack, fighting to the death, like moths drawn to a flame. Master Wade dodged this way and that. I was confused, wondering why he wasn't attacking them, why he kept avoiding their blows instead of fighting back. Wouldn't that only endanger him? And it wasn't until the water demon spoke that my question was answered. "You have the heavenly mandate. Why don't you strike? If you don't strike, you're sure to die." So, Master Wade was afraid of harming innocent lives, fearing divine retribution, which was why he dared not strike. No matter how they attacked him, he either dodged or defended, never retaliating. I thought to myself, these fish and shrimp spirits are so weak, one blow would be enough to finish them off. But if he kept not attacking, I feared the master wouldn't be able to hold on much longer. What could I do? I racked my brain, feeling helpless, unable to find a solution. On the other side, the water demon began to attack Master Wade again. The situation was critical. There was no time to delay. Master Wade could only try to escape from the enemy's encirclement, while I grew even more anxious. I saw two shrimp spirits leaping onto the bank, aiming to attack the Master's physical body, which stood at the ritual site. At this point, I could no longer delay. I decided to risk it all, grabbing my improvised weapons and rushing out. I quickly loaded my water gun with my urine and fired at the two shrimp. Two tiny streams of urine shot directly into their souls. Instantly, in a flash, they vanished before my eyes. Holding the gun, I stood guard in front of Master Wade's body. I then shouted at the shrimp and fish spirits, "If you're so tough, come get past me." Hearing my voice, they all turned their heads to look. Master Wade immediately said, "Ken, why are you out here? Did you forget what you promised me?" "I don't care. If I hadn't come out, Master, your body would have been killed by these fish and shrimp. Don't stop me. I have to fight them." "No. Go back. It's too dangerous here." "How can I go back?" "Since I'm already here, I'm ready to die. I have no intention of going back immediately." "What kind of fish and shrimp are you? How are you going to die?" I quickly took out my urine and splashed it on my face. At that, the demons trembled with fear. I then twisted open the cap of the bottle and was about to throw it at the demons like a deadly bomb. But before I could throw it, Master Wade called out, "Ken, quickly, give me your urine." I was afraid he would confiscate my only weapon, so I hesitantly replied, "No, Master. If I give it to you, you'll be merciful to them, and then you'll just hand it back to me. If you use it, you'll finish them off completely." I wasn't sure whether to trust his words, but seeing the resolute and confident look in Master Wade's eyes was very convincing. So I decided to trust his words one more time. I twisted open the bottle and threw it to him. Just then, Master Wade caught it, and the water demon leader sneered. "You think you can rely on those suicide-bombing minions of yours? They're very resistant to magic. Try it?" Master Wade smiled and replied, "Your ignorant mind can only think of death. I have a better way. Behold, a net that gathers all." Master Wade took out a purple talisman, then smeared my urine on it. Done. He threw the entire bottle of urine into the river, causing it to burn with a demonic fire, incinerating the demon souls. The fish and shrimp spirits, terrified, immediately leaped high into the air to avoid the flames. Waiting for them to do so, he immediately threw the talisman into the air and chanted loudly, "Mystical brightness art. Heaven earth net talisman. Open." The talisman, activated in mid-air, burst into flames, forming a massive net that enveloped the entire section of the river and slowly descended. The countless fish and shrimp spirits now truly had nowhere to run. Above, the net trapped them. Below, the burning fire awaited. Trapped, most of them surrendered. Only the head water demon refused to yield. He leaped straight to the other side of the riverbank to avoid the net and roared, "Well played with your cleansing spell. But you haven't caught me, so don't expect to take the souls." Master Wade at this point swung his hand, tucking the net into his sleeve. A very confident smile gracing his lips as he said, "Is that so? Look where you're standing now. You're no longer in the water. So can you escape my grasp?" You think you can escape so easily? Of course, as a spirit, I can fly anywhere I want. Divine wind finger slash. Master Wade immediately rushed forward, continuously firing a barrage of finger attacks at the water demon. The water demon on land already had its power greatly diminished, and being attacked right now meant certain death. It was now much slower, wanting to lean to one side to dodge, but couldn't. Its hard turtle shell was now pierced in several places. It immediately turned to counterattack, but was met with 5 or 6 consecutive sword strikes from Master Wade. The sword strikes hit the demon, severely injuring it, causing its 2 legs to buckle, and its entire monstrous body collapsed onto the sand. It knew that today, defeat was surely its, with no chance of victory, so it began to plot a desperate move. Wait! Don't you want to retrieve the souls of those 2 humans? With a grunt, from within its turtle shell, 2 faint, pale souls flew out. This time, it was truly Harry and Tom. It released their souls, but kept them held in front of him, saying, "You and I will make a trade. I'll release their souls for you, and you'll let me go. How about that?" Standing on this side of the river, I immediately objected upon hearing his words. "Don't agree, Master. He's just trying to run away." "I don't agree. The lives of these 2 kids are still in my hands. Do you want their souls to be scattered?" The atmosphere was incredibly tense now, especially when he opened his crab claws, threatening to crush the heads of the 2 souls. Seeing this, Master Wade said, "All right, I agree. I agree. How shall we trade? I'll go to the middle of the river, you'll take me, and I'll run away. But how can I trust what you say? You go to the middle of the river first, and I'll throw out their souls, and you can catch them. How's that?" In truth, at this critical moment, there was no better solution, so Master Wade reluctantly nodded and glided to the middle of the river. The water demon also prepared the souls, then threw them forcefully. He roared, "Catch them, you fool!" Master Wade swung his arms to catch the 2 souls of Harry and Tom, but unexpectedly, from somewhere behind him, 2 extremely powerful demonic fire bullets suddenly appeared, hurtling towards him. Their target was clear. It was that water demon who, after throwing out the souls, had also used the opportunity to launch 2 demonic fire bullets, intending to finish off Master Wade. At this moment, avoiding the 2 souls he held was impossible. In the end, he could only choose the safest method, which was to push the 2 souls towards me on the other bank, while he braced himself to withstand the enormous damage from the 2 demonic fire bullets. The 2 bullets struck unexpectedly, causing a sky-shattering explosion. Black smoke billowed, and the water surface rippled violently. The sound seemed to want to tear everything around apart. Waiting for the smoke to disperse, Master Wade's soul was slowly burning into fragments. I watched, my eyes filled with tears. "Master Wade, retrieve your soul back into your body." After that, his entire body slumped onto me. Beside him, Tom and Harry were also in their very weak spiritual forms. I didn't dare to leave him alone to find help, fearing the water demon might return. At this moment, Master Wade opened his eyes, looking at me, and smiled faintly. "Master, you're alive, right, Ken?" I choked back a sob and replied, "Yes, Master, you're alive." Quickly, help me support you. I don't want to be twisted like this. Tom's soul, Harry's soul, and I struggled to support Master Wade, slowly walking step by step, even though I myself wasn't strong. After walking a short distance and reaching the village area, I hurriedly shouted, "Everyone! Help Master Wade! He's dying!" The surrounding houses suddenly lit up. People opened their doors to see who was calling for help. But they only saw me struggling to support Master Wade. 5 or 6 people came to help support him, asking, "What happened, Master, that you're in such a state?" Master Wade fought with the demon to retrieve Tom's and Harry's soul. A little more, and we would all have died. As I said this, Mrs. Green, Harry's mother, stepped forward and cried out, "Where's my son? Where's my son's soul?" Harry, beside her, repeatedly called out "Mother." But she seemed unable to hear or see him. I pointed to their location and said, "They're sitting right here, Auntie. Tom is sitting here. You can't see them. Why can you see them?" "I have yin-yang eyes," I replied briefly, then continued to comfort Master Wade. A moment later, he woke up. He grabbed my hand and asked, "Harry and Tom, are they both back?" "They're both here, Master. They're not gone, but no one can see them except you and me." "Is that so?" "That won't do." He took out incense and lit it. Even though he only had a little spiritual power left, he still tried to cast a spell so the families could see each other. At this moment, Harry's mother and Tom's mother could see their sons. Both were overjoyed, weeping, and quickly embraced their sons, as did Harry and Tom. Finally, they could talk and interact with each other. Harry then said, "If it weren't for Master Wade and Ken's help, I would have surely died, Mom." After hearing the whole story of Master Wade's process of fighting demons to retrieve souls, both families and the villagers all expressed their heartfelt gratitude to Master Wade. But he was too weak to respond. He took my hand and said softly, "Ken, I'm afraid I won't be able to teach you anymore. But I am very happy to have a disciple like you before I die." "Don't say that, Master. You'll get better. You'll be fine. My boy, I know my soul is too burned. It cannot recover. But before I die, I still want to do something for you." He then opened a gate to the underworld directly, clearly visible to everyone. The Master then released all the fish and shrimp souls he had captured in the net earlier and said, "You were caught by evil doers and forced to commit evil deeds. Today, I release you. In your next lives, live virtuously and honestly. Understand?" The fish and shrimp spirits bowed in unison before Master Wade. Performing a ritual, then each one held hands and stepped through. Harry and Tom also lingered, unwilling to leave. The farewell scene was truly moving. The 2 mothers and sons hugged each other tightly until the yin-yang gate closed, just as the 2 jumped in, whispering, "Mother, in my next life, I still want to be your child." The gate completely vanished. Now, only Master Wade lay, gasping for breath. He seemed content, a smile on his lips as he looked at all the villagers one last time and said, "I have lived for 53 years, very fortunate to be loved by everyone. Now, as my body weakens and my last moments approach, there is nothing more I can offer than my deepest, most sincere gratitude for your love, trust, and support. Soon, I may meet our village's ancestors and elders. My worldly duty is done, and I bid you farewell." At this, all the villagers wept like rain, everyone begging Master Wade to stay a little longer. Some even volunteered to trade their own lifespan for him to continue living. The Master just smiled and said, "Life and death are fated. My time is up. Everyone, don't be sad. I see my ancestors calling me now. Everyone, stay strong. I'm going now." And with those words, he closed his eyes and passed away from the human world. That night was a sad night for the village. Another person had to fall. But this death was truly heroic and meaningful beyond measure, truly brave and worthy of praise. The whole village unanimously agreed to build a small shrine for Master Wade, naming it Master Wade's Temple. Yi Ti. As for me, the disciple who, years ago, would stealthily follow Master Wade to fight demons and fail, I am now an honest office worker. Sometimes I still regret not having inherited any of his magic. But every time I remember him, like everyone in the village, I feel proud and honored to have known a man who was willing to lay down his life so that all the villagers could enjoy peace. The story ends here. By now, I had emerged from my reverie and returned to reality. Beside me, my three friends were still listening intently. The cold plates of snacks, the beer glasses with melted ice. I let out a long sigh. My eyes welled up. My friends patted my back. "Come on, stop it, man. He lived a memorable life. What else is there to regret? You were quite bold back then, too. Just over 10 years old, and you followed a sorcerer to fight demons." Ethan was different. He handed me an issue to wipe my tears. "Your master in heaven must be very proud of you." Amidst a flurry of encouraging words, I tried to compose myself. Instead, I raised my beer glass, clinked it with theirs, and said, "See, if I don't tell a story, I don't. But when I do, it has to be like this. You guys liked my quality story, didn't you? Yes, it was quality. Yes, it was quality. Today, I really respect you. Let's have another round, brothers, and talk about something cheerful now. Okay, all right. 1, 2, 3. And just like that, we drank and feasted all night until we were exhausted and fell asleep right there. Some hiccuped, some threw up, some talked nonsense. But I, gradually, felt a strange feeling. I felt my master, up in heaven, smiling brightly and happily at me. I looked out the window, quietly made a wish to the stars, "Master, someday I will be like you."